Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Chat with Lindsey and Neely.
Hello.
Or good afternoon. Good morning/afternoon, everyone, says Dustin.
Oh, I forgot to pull up the chat on my screen, so I can't see anything.
Well, Dustin gets the gold star on my screen because he's the first in the chat.
He's also the first on my chat, too. I don't know if my thumbs up is gonna thumbs upping. Are we accepting?
Oh, I got mine.
It doesn't like my other hand.
There it is. There it is. There it
It says I'm sorry. We are a left-handed only zone.
I have to show my new coffee mug.
I love it.
I'm
It's
always
my
like,
favorite
I
color.
don't need any more coffee mugs. I'm gonna have restraint. And then I see something like this that's like the perfect size and the most beautiful color scheme.
I mean, green is literally the best color.
And like, what is a person supposed to do?
I don't know.
I mean, seriously.
I mean, I
Go
feel
right
like you
to your store to
adopted
purchase it.
You adopted it into a good home because
That's
it
true.
couldn't be fulfilling its life purpose on the shelf.
Right. Who knows what would have happened to it in its life if I hadn't have purchased it.
It'd probably be like left there, sad and alone,
No,
because
someone
nobody
else
else.
got it because it's so cute. Actually, my home is probably not the best home for a mug, being that we have a lot of,
A lot of humans.
a lot of humans that, don't always use the most care and carefulness.
I mean, to be fair, like if that was the criteria, I wouldn't be allowed to have mugs either.
Yes,
So,
yes. So I'm going to do my best to give this a good home despite the circumstances.
listen, we got one mug when we were in Ireland that I love. I still
Mhm.
love it. And I dropped it, or I like set it down too hard, or I did something and it was just in the right spot to where the hairline fracture went all the way from the top, all the way down, and all the way through. And I'm just so disheartened by it because, like, how often do you go to Ireland to, be able to replace things? You don't. And it was like a handmade looking type thing. And I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I had a favorite mug that was given to me as like end of school year gift from my homeschool group. I was the leader of the group that year, and so they gave me this whole basket, and it was like the perfect mug. It was blue, and it was like a gradient, and it was like the exact right size. It was my
Yeah.
favorite mug, and it was one of those where a kid was washing it and it dropped it in the sink or something in it.
What
And
a
it's
bummer.
so sad.
Hey,
But
that
I will say, when that does happen, I remind myself that that gives me room to go buy a new mug. So I try to like look at the bright side whenever
yeah,
that does happen because it inevitably happens.
silver lining.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
before we move forward, we've discussed the mugs themselves. What
Right.
is in your mug today?
Well, it's coffee with cream.
Well, that's not a shocker.
Yeah. What about you? Black coffee?
So,
Yeah.
no, actually, I'm going to tell you what I did today. I did something a little different, a little bit out of the ordinary. I decided I wanted some Coco Loco, but I also felt like I hadn't had my collagen yet today, and I'm trying my best to incorporate that every single day. And so I did a hot chocolate collagen
Nice.
peptides from Marigold.
Nice.
So
Did you put in any cream or anything like that, or is it just
just the water, and then the Coco Loco, the collagen hot cocoa peptide things. But then also, side note, I'm not a one and done kind of beverage person. In my Yeti here, I've got just some cinnamon tea, like herbal tea,
herbal?
herbal. And I gotta say, like, I don't remember what brand this is. Harney and Sons. I found it at the grocery store, and I was like, hot cinnamon spice sounds like something I want to try. I have not been disappointed. So hot tea, hot chocolate electrolytes, and collagen. We're doing all the non-coffee things right now, but
All right.
that's
Well, I'll do the coffee for the both of us. So we
okay.
talked about the other week that I've been waking up earlier, which means I've been drinking my coffee earlier, which means by 10
Right.
o'clock, I'm like already done with my second cup. I have a new strategy.
Ooh, strategery.
I am using my French press. It's one of
Okay.
the, keep the heat French presses. So I make like 2 cups of coffee, and
Yeah.
then it's able to just sit there. I get my first cup, and I maybe have a little less than normal in my first cup, and
Yeah.
then it sits there, and then I can do 3 cups at different times, and it's fresh and hot every time,
Sure.
but it ends up being the same amount of coffee in the end.
That checks out. That checks out. I
So,
have
I'm
follow-up questions, but
yeah, yeah, I'm feeling fairly brilliant with that strategy.
so the question I would have for you would be that with the French press, there's some science to it, right?
Yes,
Want to get proper number of grams of your beans. You want to make sure
yes,
the beans are ground to the appropriate coarseness. But then there's also the timing aspect of it and the temperature of the water. With the timing aspect of it, it's one of those things where there are often people who say you need to decant it from the French press so as to not let it continue brewing
right.
and get bitter. I lack the ability to taste bitterness in
Mhm,
a negative capacity. So for
mhm.
me, that sounds like it would be an ideal setup if I were to go that route. Do you notice whether it turns more bitter or not?
I mean, maybe, like, this is a saved cup, and it might be a little bit more bitter, but again, I don't mind. I like the darkest roast coffee. I don't mind Starbucks. People sometimes are like, "Oh, it's so burnt," and I'm like, I think it's good." So maybe I'm also a strange one in that
Okay.
camp, but when you press it down and the
Yep.
beans are compacted at the bottom, I can't imagine there's a whole lot more circulation of water going through it, but I don't know the science of it.
I would like to agree with you there, but there is a complete culture surrounding the French
Press.
press, and that is one of their tenets of the culture to
Right,
sure that if you're going to have more than what you can drink at that time, that you decant it
right,
from the press.
right.
So,
There is I mean, coffee is on par with, like, wine tasting, like, the culture surrounding it. So
oh yeah,
you can go as far down that rabbit hole as you want to. It continues to go with, measuring to the microgram of beans, and yeah, I don't get that intense. Like, I'm not drinking Folgers, but I'm also not, like, weighing out every little bean and
this one's
trying to
too
make
large. I'm
it
sorry, you're going back.
perfect. Yeah, yeah, I don't get that,
Granular.
about it, yeah, yeah. So, I'm fine with it. I understand others, might prefer something different. Um, One thing you do learn on YouTube, after a little while is that not everyone does everything exactly the way you do, and not everyone appreciates everything you do the way you do it.
I was gonna sum it up in you're doing it wrong. That's what
Right.
being on YouTube is. Being told you're doing it wrong.
Yes, that is
Left,
it.
right, center.
Yeah, so for any aspiring YouTubers out there, just, like, assume
You're doing it wrong.
everything you're doing is wrong, and then you'll be fine.
But I
Because
mean,
you
like,
don't get
actually,
off
you're doing
guard when someone
like
tells
you're
you you're
super
doing something wrong. Yeah.
oh, good times. Hey, let's say hi to people, and then maybe we
No,
can
we
jump
should.
into the fact that it's February.
Yes.
What?
We finally made it to February.
Hot dog.
All right, so, Dustin got the gold star, and Beth is here. Good morning. T. Lewis, good afternoon. Risa is here. Hello. Let's see. Oh, Dustin got a new 30-ounce steel coffee cup from Bucky's. Now I have 2. You can never have too many Bucky's cups. Did you say that your Bucky's cup bit the dust?
It also got a hairline fracture. I don't think that it's
So rude.
so complete that it's unusable, but
Right.
it's one of those things where it's like you just never know when either that hot electrolytes or that hot tea or that hot coffee is going to break the camel's back, so to speak. So I have ceased using it.
Sad.
It
Sad.
is
Okay, Rickwin is here. Hello. She likes my mug.
it is
Yeah,
very
she
pretty.
has a collection of mugs as well. It's a really good collection to have, I think. Like, because 'cause they're still useful. And,
Yes.
like, you get all the feels. Okay, so
Yeah.
today is a snow day here. Probably our only snow day of the year. And we got like not even an inch, probably enough to like make it look pretty and
Yeah.
enough for the kids to like make a tiny little snowman. But like I'm looking out the window and the snow is falling and it looks beautiful. And I have my new beautiful coffee mug that's exactly the right size and like I can hold it. I mean, it's just like
Nostalgic
yeah,
feels all the way.
it's coziness, and you can't put a price on coziness.
Can I interrupt you for just like a nanosecond? I'm listening to the words you're saying, but I'm being distracted by the fact that we're wearing the same color scheme in
Yes. Yes, and we did not plan it because
how do
that's
we
what we are.
how do we do this? And we're back. We're back
All
in the
right.
chat, folks.
Let's see. Risa says today is Starbucks Sumatra with adaptogens, daily minerals, a touch of stevia, and oh, I got it in the Peanuts Valentine's Day mug. That's fun. That's fun. I haven't yet gotten to the point of like having a collection of mugs for different seasons. That would be
Yeah.
fun. I do have like one Christmas mug, Christmassy mug, but besides that, they're just all the time mugs. But that would be fun to have different seasons as well.
Yeah. I do have mugs that are seasonal for Christmas specifically because it goes with like the set of Christmas dishes for my grandmother. Beyond that, everything is more like locational kind of a mug. So like this one is clearly from the KetoChow
Yes.
from the Utah. And then like a lot of the mugs that we have are from places that we've been to. So they're kind of like a reminder memory thing as well as being a useful
Yeah.
vessel for things that we touch and see every day.
Yes.
So that's sort of the underlying purpose behind our coffee cups.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm not going to feel bad about it.
Your jokes were ill-timed.
All right. I broke the lid to the mug my mother-in-law gave me. Oh, that is sad. I still have it sitting on the counter in hopes of fixing it one of these days. Yeah, I've done that as well, where it sits and sits, and I'm like, I'm gonna find some way to fix it. And then I'm like, no, I'll just go out and buy a new mug, find a new one. But
Yeah.
one that someone gave you. That was the hard thing about the mug that I lost that was from my homeschool kids. That was so sad. Let's see. Risa collects mugs too. Right now it's the peanuts mugs. I got 4 just Valentine's mugs from the last 4 years. Snoopy's sweet face every morning. That's fun.
Good old Snoopy.
Oh, Dustin says I've been getting shown YouTube videos on fancy manual espresso machines that cost more than Nespresso machines. Yeah, you get into those espresso machines, they get expensive real fast.
Yes.
Thousands of dollars. Okay, everyone's got their priorities.
It's good to have hobbies. And it's
Mhm,
also good that everybody's allowed to have different hobbies.
mhm. And I'm glad that, my tastes for coffee are not so particular that I have to have one of those machines. I
Yep.
can be happy with,
Good. It's good.
Chris Bear is here. Hello. Let's see. Show Me Kitties is here.
Okay.
We haven't
Hello.
seen that name before.
No,
Risa is having chocolate peanut butter keto chow today with some added chocolate collagen. I had a chocolate peanut butter keto chow last night. I did not finish it, so it is in the fridge waiting for me to have it at some point today.
Ooh, I have a chocolate peanut butter creamy that needs some attention.
Everybody get on the chocolate peanut butter bandwagon. That's the flavor of the day.
I was like not always like, oh, rah, 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 chocolate peanut butter, because chocolate is like perfect by itself. But
Right.
lately I've been like, I can appreciate the additional flavor profile.
It is
So
it is a match made in heaven. Okay, let's see, let's see. Um, Dustin says we get Solimo espresso. I have not tried that one. They are the Amazon house brand. We have them on subscription because we can't run out of coffee. Yes. Yep. I went through a phase of doing the K cups and the Nespresso, not the newest Nespresso
The
big pot,
original
but
little bitty pods.
the original. I did that for a while, but I just prefer like my AeroPress or the French press to
Yeah.
those. I just and I'm like, because of all the, the waste and the more expense and stuff, there is convenience. I will give you that for sure. Which I appreciated for a time, but I was like, all right, I do still have my Keurig because I pull it out when we have guests. That's one thing that's
Sure.
really nice. It's not nice to, have to make an AeroPress every time a guest wants coffee. So I do like it for that, but for everyday use, I prefer AeroPress, French press. It's all good. Okay, let's see. Beverly is here. Hello. Remember to hit the thumbs up.
You know,
Thank you guys. Um, Reese's got the Christmas peanuts mugs and the Halloween. That's fun. I love collecting things. So fun. It's from the Utah.
I've been there. I've
Yeah.
been a resident of Utah and a
I have
visitor of
friends that
Utah.
live in Utah.
I also have friends in Utah that live
Speaking
there
of
all the
friends that
time.
live in Utah,
It's Lynette.
Okay. Chatting about coffee machines and such. I was gonna mention real quick. So I noticed that when I sit and do a live stream for an hour, I sit in front of my computer for at least an hour. And then Lindsay and I usually sit and chat afterwards and sometimes before. And so it's like an hour and a half that we sit. And I found that consistently, if I do that, the like right after I have some like almost a tension headache, but
Oh,
not enough to be like, oh, I have a headache. It's just like this, like it's hard to describe. Like I just feel off and it's like it feels like, some kind of pressure in my head somehow. And so I was like trying to think of ways to mitigate that. So what I'm trying today is not having my ring light on.
okay.
So if it's a little bit, not as bright, that's why. Although it is snowy outside, so there is a lot of brightness coming from the windows. And
Yeah.
then also I downloaded an app on my computer called Iris that changes the screen colors and the brightness for different there's all different settings for different things. So if it's right before sleeping, it makes it all red, basically. So I have it on a setting that's a little bit not so much blue. So I'm thinking reduce the blue light from the screen, reduce the LED ring light, have more I'm seeing if that makes a difference. I may,
Sure.
if that doesn't make a difference, I may also try to do like standing. Are you still doing a standing?
Always standing.
That's right. That's what I thought.
I'm
I
always
do not like standing still
moving.
for extended periods of time. Like, I don't mind walking for an hour, that'd be fine, but just I feel like just standing sounds so terrible for an entire hour, but I
I
might
feel
try
like I feel like sitting for an entire hour is just like if I sit down
it.
for that long,
Mm,
I'm going to fall asleep.
okay.
Like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, that's what my 40s are about.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's on the back burner, like, if, if I still don't feel great after we do this, then I may try doing the standing next week and see if I can manage it. Um
Sure.
I didn't pull out because I have my walking pad. I could, be walking, but then
Right.
I figure like trying to read comments and like use my
That might
computer
be
sometimes,
challenging.
not
I
quite ready
also
for that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that.
okay. Good
That's
stuff.
what I'm
Hey,
trying this week.
so sitting versus standing,
Mhm.
and sort of like the different implications of that.
Mhm.
Sort of makes my brain think about the fact that there are different implications to fitness journeys.
What?
So
Segue?
today starts a new month. Yeah, I don't have the little feel like if I was sitting down, I couldn't do that.
There you
And
go. There you go.
I'm a physical person, even if I'm not very good at coordination.
Mm.
Okay, so I want to say something really quickly. A few years ago, we started doing this coffee chat thing, and it was on Tuesdays. And in that period of time, that era of the coffee chat, we did discuss things like what we were doing for fitness or how we were trying to be intentional with exercise and that sort of thing, because we both find value in incorporating exercise or fitness activities into our lives. And while you can make huge health changes and create health outcomes just by changing your diet, there is a large amount of benefit to adding the fitness piece into the puzzle. So we have discussed this in the past, but for this month, we wanted to touch on the fitness and exercise piece and kind of share our experiences with fitness over the years as sort of like a baseline understanding for this month. And then subsequent weeks, we will find other things as it pertains to health and wellness or health and fitness to discuss. But today we really wanted to focus on kind of like our origin story, more or less. So I wanted to ask you, what is your fitness origin story, and where are you currently with your with your story arc?
Yes, excellent. And if anybody has any fitness related questions, either for today or for the next 3 Wednesdays, let us know. We'd love to hear that.
Knowing full well that we are not licensed healthcare professionals
Right.
of any sort. We are just a couple of moms on the internet who have a connection to the internet and cameras on which we can
Yes.
do.
Yes. And we can chat about our experience, just like friends chat about their experiences. That's what we do.
While having coffee or coffee adjacent.
Or herbal tea.
Herbals.
All right. So I, growing up, I was never really athletic. That's not been my natural gifting, except for swimming. That is where my natural athleticism starts and ends. I come from a family that did a lot of swimming, and it came pretty naturally to me. And so I was on the swim team growing up. And so I was active. It wasn't like it was back in the day where there weren't just screens to sit and look at all day long. So, I mean, kids back then were just active by default. So lots of rollerblading and riding bikes and swimming and stuff like that. So I wasn't sedentary growing up. And through my, young adult life, I was having kids starting at age 21, had my first baby at 21. So during that time, I feel like I went back and forth between periods of being pretty sedentary, having newborn babies, which is kind of normal and natural. And then also uh, times of being more active, having gym memberships and trying different workout programs and things like that. Um, but it wasn't like I was consistently a runner or consistently like had a sport that I was dedicated to, achieving something in. So it was just it really varied from year to year. Um, and it was always the battle of trying to be fit, but not really like having a specific direction in that. It's like, no, I wasn't just trying to become a better pickleball player or something like that. It was like, I just want to be fit. So just kind of did stuff to try to get there. I did find, and this is kind of a funny thing that looking back, I realize that did affect me is that I never lost weight via fitness. I'm like, my body just doesn't work that way. Some people are like, oh, I added in running and I just dropped so many pounds effortlessly. Like I've never been that person. So going through all those years of, trying to get baby weight off and trying to lose weight and things like that, like I would buy in to fitness programs and be like, okay, this will help me lose weight. It never, ever worked that way for me. And there could be various reasons for that. I know it was good for me. And I know that, building muscle is great. And so maybe there was some, losing fat and gaining muscle, things like that. But I never saw like any dramatic physical results from it. And so during the years where I was, um, a lot more focused and had a lot more body image issues and was trying to just lose weight no matter what, fitness, like I kept trying it because I mean that's just what you do when you want to lose weight. That's what you hear. But I made that connection kind of subconsciously after a while that like I don't lose weight when I'm exercising. I lose weight when I'm not exercising and reducing my calories dramatically. Um, which is, at this point in my life, I'm like, oh man, that was not uh sending me towards health. It was, yeah, it might have been sending me towards a smaller body, but ultimately not really because things always swing back. Anyways, so I never got into that cycle that some people do of exercise bulimia type behavior
Mm.
because it just never worked. I mean, I probably would have if it worked, but it never did. So I would, make a push for exercise, but it never really stuck because I wasn't seeing the results that I really was going for, which is sad. So I've done a lot of exercise over the years. I've been, in gyms doing different classes, and there's definitely some that I really enjoyed. I got into doing Pilates and yoga when, in my 20s and early 30s, and definitely enjoyed that kind of thing. But I feel like over the last, like, since we moved into this house, which is coming up on 4 years, I think, um, I w I really struggled to get into a regular rhythm with exercise for the first couple of years that we lived here. When we moved, um, we had to do a ton of work on our old house to get it ready to sell, and because of the way things, uh, evolved, like, we had to do it in a timeline, like a deadline. Like, we had to stay up late and get up early and, like, just kinda focus our entire selves on getting the house ready, and it was really intense, and we're, like, moving stuff into storage unit, and, like, it was really intense, and I hurt myself somehow, like, my hips just were killing me after that, and so it took a while to get, um, my body back to working right after we moved into this house, and so, I did a lot of yoga at that time, and then I found that as soon as I started feeling better, I was not motivated to keep doing it, and so I stopped doing it, which is lame. And so it was one of those things where it was like it was weighing on me that I have to get this
Weighing on.
not in a good physical way, in an emotional way that is not good,
Yep.
where it was like, I have to do something about this because I'm getting older. Like, I can't just be sedentary because when you're young, you're like, yeah, I know it's not good for me, but I'll get there eventually before I'm old. I saw a great meme a while back that was like, woman who doesn't work out in her youth hopes that she'll work out when she's old or something like that. It was like one of those headlines. And I was like, yeah.
That checks out. That does.
And so I was like, I've got to do something about this. And I kept, kind of doing a push and then just it not really sticking. And 2 years ago, I got the opportunity to join a fitness class that was right by our house. That was one of the other things that was difficult was there's not a gym down the street from where we live. We're out in the country. I can't just be away from the house and the kids for long periods of time, like driving 20 minutes to a gym and 20 minutes back. It's just not, I have to have something here or very close to here.
Yeah.
And I found that what I needed to get over the hump of being consistent and getting my body used to and to the point of enjoying exercise is that I needed the accountability of something in person.
Yeah.
And that speaks to, like an immaturity in myself. Like, I wish I wasn't that kind of person that needed that. But the reality of the situation was I needed that at that point. I needed some external um, uh,
Accountability.
accountability, yeah, and someone, just I'm paying someone else to to, uh, teach me a class, like, because I remember I tried doing an online thing, and I talked about it,
I remember that.
that was 2 years ago, and I was like, "Okay, I'm paying this money, and I'm gonna do this online thing." It did not last. It was and well, it wasn't the kind of exercise I enjoyed at the time, and it wasn't live. It was just like you do it every day on your own time, and I was like, that wasn't it for me.
Yeah.
Um, but having the accountability and the community of an in-person class where we're in it together, we're sweating together, we're pushing each other, like that is exactly what I needed to get consistent at it and to get my body to a place where it enjoys exercise.
Yeah.
I feel like where I was before, I would have like a fight or flight response to intense exercise, where it was like my body is like, you're gonna die. You need to stop this, And I had to push myself through that for a period of time before like my brain and my body got the signal that no, you're not going to die and this is actually good for us and we can actually enjoy this. And so I feel like my brain is at such a different place now where I look forward to exercise. I I mean obviously there's types of exercise where you don't enjoy it in the moment. Like you just don't like burpees, they're not fun, but there's something about like afterwards where you feel like I did that and like there's a satisfaction and an endorphin rush and like now my body knows that that's coming and so I can kind of enjoy the moment even though it's not enjoy anyways.
You
um
can endure those moments with
yes.
joy, knowing the other side is coming.
Yes. And I don't have that fight or flight, like my brain telling me, "You've got to stop this or you're gonna die," type thing. And so that was huge. And I also want to throw in here that my work with Jonathan Shane really helped me in this area also because one thing that um, he helped me with was getting over the doing stuff not in person with somebody else because he was giving me accountability to run a certain number of times per week and stuff like that, stuff that I would do on my own. And so I would push myself to do it by myself because I had that external accountability, even though he wasn't right there with me while I was
Sure.
doing it, like the exercise class. So I feel like working with him really stretched me in pushing myself to exercise to more intensity even when I wasn't with a group of people, if that makes sense. So it was like I needed that group of people initially and got over that hump, and then Jonathan really helped me push myself when I'm by myself to get that exercise in, um and with that accountability. And now I'm at the place where I don't have his accountability anymore, but I'm still pushing myself even when I am by myself.
On your
So it's
own.
like if exercise class gets canceled for whatever reason, I'm still wanting to exercise and I'm still exercising, which is it's like such a different such a different,
It doesn't love me today.
it doesn't help me today.
That's okay.
Such a
It's okay.
different, place than I have been, um, for most
In
of my
years past.
adult life. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
it feels really good. It feels
Yeah.
really, really good to be in this place where I feel like I'm fit to a degree. I'm not an Iron Man or anything, but I feel fit. I can do a lot. Like I can do the burpees. I can When I first started this exercise class, like, I couldn't believe how hard it was. 'Cause she went through, like, this list of, I think, 5 different exercises, and it was like a Tabata HIIT style workout, so it's like mountain climbers and jumping jacks and squat jumps and stuff like that, and, she said, "We're gonna do this 5 times, like, do these 5 things 5 times, like
Exercise.
30 seconds each or something." And we went through the first round, and in my mind, I was like, I have to have heard her wrong. We are not doing this. There's no way she said we are doing this 5 times. Then I did not hear her wrong. We did do it 5 times, and it was so hard. And now I go to the class, and it's not that it's not hard, but but my body works with me. Like, my body feels strong enough to do hard things rather than hard things are going to kill me. That makes
We
sense.
love that. We love that.
Yeah. Yeah, so
That's what it's about, progression.
yeah. And so that's where I am at right now, and I'm just kind of trying to figure out, like, the normal, um, like, how much farther do I need to push it? I feel like I'm doing a lot. Like, if I just maintain this, I should be good, and, playing with different types of exercise and things like that and finding what I enjoy. I did sign up for a 10K in April
Ooh.
again. It's the same one that I did last year, and, so I'm interested to see kinda how I feel this year versus last year, because that was when I was really dealing with, I was just
Oh,
kinda
yeah.
coming out of the hyperthyroid stuff, and, I didn't really train for it because I was just coming out of all that time where I couldn't really train. So I'm gonna try to train a little bit better. I'm in a lot better shape now, and, it'll be interesting just to see, like, the difference between last year and this year. So that's coming up, and, yeah, that's where I'm at. I feel like it's all good news.
All
Very
good things.
very happy with where I'm at.
One thing I would ask is, do you foresee yourself being willing to do a 10K every year in the April timeframe so that you can kind of see how you move forward in your, you know, body's physical existence on this earth right now?
Yeah, I definitely think that that's a possibility, and this one that happens, like, right at my birthday time is kind of fun, and, it's, like, right in the spring when the weather's not terrible, but it's also not too hot, and so I could see myself, doing that every year. I toyed with the idea of, being a runner and signing up for different races at different, going up to a half marathon or whatever, and I I pretty much decided that that's not my life right now, and it wouldn't make sense, with, what I have going on. I
Yeah.
can't just, be off on a 10-mile run every weekend or, whatever. It's just not what I can do. So I'm finding, what works a lot better for me for at least cardio is stuff that I can do at home, uh,
Hmm.
in my house where my kids are all safely taken care of. So the rebounder has been huge. I've been playing with step aerobics, which has been really fun.
When you told me that one, I was like,
It's so fun.
all right, we're phoning in the 80s. Here we go.
Yes. Yeah, well, and I'm a child of the 80s, but obviously I wasn't doing step aerobics when I was between 0 and 6 years old. Uh,
Same.
I mean, it would have been cute, but, anyway, so I get in on it then, but I feel like I'm making up for it now.
Yeah.
There's a channel here on YouTube, C. Dorner Fitness. Her name is Chris Dorner. So C. Dorner Fitness, and she does the most amazing step aerobics classes, and she does all kinds of stuff
I
like
mean, like,
kickboxing.
I'm imagining you're stepping up and you're stepping,
Yeah.
and then you're stepping down, and you're stepping up, and you're stepping down, and you're doing like all of the things.
Yes. Well, I was like shocked at how much you can do, like how many moves there are.
It
Because
requires a lot of coordination too.
I mean, it's dancing. It's full on
Yes.
like dancing. There's so many
Yeah.
things you can do. Like if I had to sit there and think of all the things you could do on a step, I'd be like, well, I got 5 and that's I'm out. But I mean, she has this whole playlist of like beginner where she teaches you one step. And
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's so many and there's so many variations of each one. And so I think it's really good for my brain, my grandma brain.
Right, right, right.
As I get older, like coordination and, keeping things in your brain. And I think that's all good. And then I get tons of steps in. Like I'll do one of these workouts in the morning and I'm already at like 4 or 5,000 steps for the day.
Yeah.
And so like, and it's so fun. And then she does a
Yeah.
great job because she is so hilarious. And she does these workouts live. So they're always recorded live, even if you watch them afterwards. She's talking to people in the chat and there's always she's hilarious. And so she's incredible at what she does. I don't know how she's able to like look at the chat and talk and call out all the things at the same time. It's
Practice,
yeah.
practice, practice.
Yeah. So she's fantastic. Highly recommend checking out her channel. And she does more than just step aerobics. She does strength and mobility and kickboxing and then other types of aerobics. She's and she does like every week she'll put out a schedule and there's like 5 workouts and a lot of them are live and then some of them are pre-recorded. Anyways, I've been doing a lot of that. So just playing with all kinds of stuff, but all that to say, I found it works a lot better for me to do like my cardio conditioning stuff at home
Okay.
with the machine. So I have, now I have a bike and the rowing machine and the rebounder and the step.
Mhm.
I find that I do the rebounder and the step more than anything else because I just
Okay.
so fun and not
Yeah.
monotonous. I find
Yeah.
it better than running. But
Well,
I
and the
still get a
value,
really good workout.
well, good workout, but then also they are completely unattached to any kind of electricity source. So it's literally not hinged upon anything other
Yes.
than your willingness to go and do the activity.
Right. Yeah. And yeah. Anyways, so I have talked a whole lot and you still need to tell your story. I mean, we could do yours next week. We've only got 15 minutes left. What do you think?
I'm going to leave that up to you. I mean, I feel like I could concisely
Okay.
put together what I got. But if you'd rather wait till next week, I'm more
All
than
right. Let's see if there's any questions that we need to
sure.
address in the chat and then see where we're at from there. Risa says baby weight is the worst to get off. Yes. Went
I
low.
found for me it fell off whenever I was nursing. Like the physical
Oh
like
my God.
weight, I may not have fit in the same clothes the same way, but the number on the scale came down pretty rapidly. I was squishier, that's for sure.
Right.
I got a lot squishier.
Right. That's how moms are supposed to be, I think.
Soft landing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Risa used to do yoga too, loved it, should get back into it. Low carb spin is here. Hello. Let's see. Julie says, I exercise 7 days a week with strength training, Zumba, and play pickleball, mostly for enjoyment and endorphins that are very addictive. Yes, that's what I'm finding. Just wondering, Neely, how are you liking your new rebounder? Love it. I love it so much. It's so funny because I feel like such a little kid. Like, I just want to go jump on my trampoline.
There's something about it. I
There
tell you what.
is. Yeah. And so, like, I'm doing a lot more of my cardio on the rebounder. And I think for as I'm getting older, that's probably a good choice over lots of hours running, like on pavement. I just think, if we're looking at longevity, obviously you can't sign up for a rebounder 10K. That would be fun if you could, but
Sounds like an opportunity for us to create that particular sport.
that's it. That's going to be our claim to fame.
winning. You're
But
doing
I feel like, I can get my heart rate, up to the same zones and get a really good workout with keeping it really easy on my joints. And as I'm getting older, I just think that's probably going to be the better way to go than just more and more running or something like that. So I love it. And the difference between my previous rebounder and this one, it's like night and day. Like I liked my previous one. It was great for getting started and I used it. I legitimately used it. But now that I've experienced this one, I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. So highly recommend. And they gave me a 10% coupon for you guys. It's Neely, NILI 10 2025.
Do you have the link for that?
I do have a link for it. Let me see if I can find it.
If
But they
you'll
also have the rebounder on sale on Amazon. I forget if it's a percent discount. I think it's a percent discount right now. And my coupon stacks on top of it. So you can get the rebounder for less than, I think it was less than 170
wow.
with the two let's see, I'm trying to do two things at
The
once.
coupon codes stacked together.
Yeah, well, I was saying there's an option
that.
where you can only get one set of bungees, which it would be even cheaper, but you could get the one with two sets of bungees, and it's so cheap. Like I can't believe how cheap it is compared to the like really cheap ones
The
on Amazon.
elite brand ones.
Like $50 more gets you like a high-end rebounder. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's very cool. While you hunt for that, I'm going to keep going with comments.
Yes.
So Suzanne said that she just finished her weekly call with Keto Road. That's Jonathan Shane.
Oh, nice.
If you are not aware, you can go contact Jonathan Shane to set up like a call to see if he would be a good coach for you as far as like nutrition and fitness plans and all those things. He specializes in female fitness type things and health and wellness. And Neely worked with him, what was it, like 6 months or more?
Yeah, we did 6
Somewhere.
months.
So that is
About this time last year, actually.
yeah. So if you are needing some sort of direction, he's got a great personality and he seems to have his head on straight when it comes to being able to coach people well. So
Yeah.
you definitely check him out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who else? Oh, Lynette, 100% here. If you don't use it, you lose it. That's right.
Yeah.
That is
Can't afford losing it.
I mean, when you're talking about the step aerobics thing, like that literally takes me back to elementary days when my mom would take me and my baby sister, I don't know how old she was, to a school gym where a lady would do step aerobics with a whole group of ladies. You carried your own step there, and my sister and I would sit in the bleachers playing, or I would have to do like reading or homework or whatever. And mom would sit there doing the jazzercise, doing the step aerobics, like all of it. Oh man. And then my mom also had a rebounder when I was growing up, and it would sit in the living room.
Figured out.
Oh my gosh, she had all of it figured out back then.
Hilarious. Well, it's funny how things come back around. And I was thinking about like people made fun of like the aerobics and all of that. And like people, at the gym, sitting on the bike and just reading a book. And now it's like, oh, zone 2 cardio is the thing.
That's what we're doing now, apparently.
And that's what you're doing. And I mean, some step aerobics can be pretty high intensity, but a lot of it is just, it's just getting your steps in and getting that zone 2 cardio. And it's like, actually, that's not the worst thing. Maybe, what's his name? The Afro guy.
Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons. Maybe he had it all figured out. As long as you add, your heavy weights in it. He probably, looking at him, he probably didn't do heavy weights.
I don't think.
But if you did both, like then you got it covered.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. This one I thought was interesting too. Sophia said, tried online stuff too and wasn't compliant. But for her, buying a program where she sees the whole plan in front of her made it easier to stick to. Okay, that's really good to know about yourself, to know this kind of plan won't work for me, so I'm going to steer clear from them no matter how much the marketing makes me think it will work for me. But then looking at, like something that will fit with the way that your brain works, that's a great knowledge base to have to work from.
Yes.
And then it allowed you to progress in strength and skill, and that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah,
it definitely, like, it has to do with figuring out what works for you.
Yeah. Oh no. Am I the frozen one, or did Neely freeze?
Oh,
did you
can
freeze,
hear
or
me?
did I freeze?
Oh, I don't know. Like, I saw you freeze, but then I got a thing that said lost connection. So I don't know what everyone else saw.
I saw you freeze and got no lost connection pop-ups.
Okay. Well, hopefully we're all back now. Yeah.
Chris Bear has summed up my story for me, but I don't remember the voice of Mr. Sir. I remember Shia LaBeouf's voice in this movie, Holes. Once upon a time, there was a magic place where it never rained. The end.
Oh my. Okay, so let's see. Let's say Nega Chin. I think you're asking about the fitness channel, and I did put that link in the chat. So hopefully that's the channel you were talking about.
I actually think that they are new here.
Yeah.
And are curious about what is our situation here.
Or what is this channel?
Yeah. We are just a couple of moms that have our own independent YouTube channels, and every week we get together and do a little chat with our viewers here, and welcome
people
with our people.
It's only for people that stick around for these.
That is true.
There's some videos that we do where it's, for a broader audience and like to bring in new viewers. These ones are just for our people.
That's right.
And so if you're here,
you're welcome to stick around.
Yes. Yeah. Well, find out if you are, because
give us a try on, take us for a few laps and see if you like the room. Yeah.
So for February, we're talking about fitness and different, things related to that. And we were going to both share our stories this week, but I talked for a long time. So yeah, let's have
you good.
Tell your story next week. And so you can feel free to take all the time you need. I don't want you to feel like you have to shove it all into 7 minutes.
I'll do my best to draw it out.
We'll have all kinds of other things to talk about if you don't need to take an entire hour to tell your story. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, Sing It is here. I missed the entire thing. Well, you're gonna have to catch up.
Where have you been?
Yeah, we've been waiting.
Well, I'm waiting.
Yeah. You can catch up on the replay. There's always the replay.
That's true.
You can always listen to it at 1.5 speed if you need to.
Or 2x if you're brave.
Yes. All right.
And really
he
sounds.
Risa had to go.
Low Carb Sin was here, and then they had to go too.
Yep. Transformation in progress. Greetings from CANYC. What is CANYC? California, New York City. Cold but sunny here, 34 degrees. Enjoying my half mug of reheated collagen coffee. Late, but catching up with the playback speed. Excellent.
I feel like CA means like it's one of the 5 boroughs, but I don't know which one that would be.
Yeah. I have never been to New York. Well, I've been in the airport. Actually, I've bussed from one airport to the other airport, but I've never spent time in New York. Yeah, you don't really get to experience a whole lot just bussing from one airport to the other.
No. I have spent time in New York City. It's pretty cool overall.
Yeah, I would like to.
Having visited numerous times, it does solidify that I am much more of a small town girl.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
not living in a lonely world, just in case
Mm,
you were curious.
right.
And I'm not trying to go anywhere. I'm happy, all right, unless it's snowboarding, and then I'll go anywhere.
Right. All right. Um, yeah. She'll find out what's in the cups. Yes, we do discuss.
We did discuss that. We did not leave you hanging, sing it.
All right, well, we could wrap it up here just a couple minutes early unless
I
anyone has
agree.
any burning questions that you need to get answered this very moment. But
If not, go ahead and leave questions for us in the comments below, either on Neely's channel or on my channel. We
Mhm.
will attempt to bring those into this February's live streams. We've got 3 more to go, where we're going to just discuss fitness in general, because fitness does matter in the
Yes.
grand scheme of health outcomes, even if it's not explicitly about losing weight.
Yes, absolutely. All right, thanks for joining everybody. We'll see you next week.